So you guys saw me build this Kages enclosure. This is the one I built and did a review video on. Now you're going to get to see me set it up for my Ackie monitor Reptar. This enclosure was sent to me by Kages to review and build and just see what I thought about it. So thank you to Kages for sending this for me to use for one of my animals during this crazy moving process, getting all the animals down to the basement, new enclosures, you name it. It's been a crazy hectic time, which is why this is just now coming out. But he's been loving this enclosure and I've been loving it, and it's giving me a chance to actually use it. Because when I reviewed it, it was just based on the building process. Now I've gotten to use it and I can say, holy cow, these enclosures hold heat really well, they hold humidity very well. Not that Ackie monitors need high humidity, but I'm just saying these enclosures will hold it all really, really well. So if you would like to get your own Kages enclosure, you can use my code 𝘬𝙪𝙨 to save $50 on your purchase. That sounded very commercial. Anyway, let's get into the video so I can show you how I set it up.
For this project, I used just a flat sheet of Universal Rock's background and cut it to the size I wanted. I did cut this lower so it wouldn't be covering the back vents. I figured looking at it straight on, you're not going to see the top anyway because of the front piece, so I figured I could leave the vents exposed. And then I had these little rock ledges on hand from a project in the past. So I pulled them out and installed them in here to give him something to climb on. I would love to add more rock ledges in the future, but those cost money, and right now with as many projects as I'm doing, that's just gonna have to wait. For substrate, I'm using an organic topsoil that you can just get at Home Depot. This is usually the base I use for all of my setups, and then I mix in other things like play sand, for example. And with Ackie monitors being an arid species, I definitely wanted play sand, and that was actually the last of the play sand I had, but that's okay because then I used excavator clay. I like that it's a little bit more on the red side because he is a red Ackie, so I wanted to bring in those kind of pops of red that made it feel more like, you know, your red arid environments as opposed to like a more yellowy kind of color. So I dumped a whole bunch of that in and then just mixed it all up. Yes, I was being a baby and didn't really want to like use my hands, so I was just using this extra water dish that I have as kind of like a little shovel to mix things around. And then it was time to add all his decor in. So probably my favorite piece of decor I have for him is this ginormous piece of cholla wood, because it gives like a really awesome climbing opportunity. And then I just started adding in all the other decorations. So with monitors being so smart and intelligent, I have to make sure that I add a ton of stuff for him to explore and climb. And I do like to change it up, move things around. So as much as the current setup, it'll probably be changing a couple times, or not a couple times, but like quite frequently. And then these red rocks I actually took from Chalupa's enclosure since she also got a new background. So I put them in here just because, again, they're red and it just added to the environment, more rocks, you know. And then adding in some fake plants just to give places to hide, make it look more natural. And then I kept finding like more extra things on hand, so I just kept adding them to the enclosure. And then it was time to add in the glass and introduce Reptar. And one thing I want to note is, I know I keep saying he, I'm very used to Reptar being a he to us, but I'm actually like 99% sure that Reptar might actually be a female. So I'm pretty sure Reptar is done growing and as big as she is going to get. So she's a little bit on the smaller side, but that is totally okay. She's still cute, still intelligent, and still a lot of fun.
So little update, I added more plants and I moved his cork tube, so we got more grass, got a little fern. So just moving some stuff around until I like the layout. I do want to get more for this empty space over here, maybe another cork tube or something. So I think you'll have a lot of fun with that. Right, Rippy? He loves his cork tube. I still have to figure out the basement lighting down here. It's really bad lighting. But big thank you to Kages for this enclosure. I love it. It looks so good. Reptile's having a blast in it. And I would still highly recommend Kages if you're interested in getting a new enclosure for your pet reptile. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!